Okay. How do you get fit? AKA lean. Lose fat, build muscle. Well, this is called no BS nutrition for a reason. I'm not going to give you any bullshit. That's what BS means. No bullshit nutrition. I'm just going to tell you straight up. If you want to lose fat and build muscle, you can do this in two ways. A, you go on a diet, you train, you eat right, you still slowly cut, and you lose fat. But with that, you will lose a little bit of strength. You won't build as much muscle because on a diet, you typically want to hold the muscle you have and hold the strength that you have. So you're really not losing fat building muscle on a diet. You really want to lose fat, keep muscle. So that's the concept. Well, if you main gain or bulk or clean bulk, not a dirty bulk, a clean bulk, and it's like calorie surplus, you can over time gain muscle and lose body fat because you're supplying your body with more fuel when you're training. So when you supply your body with more fuel when training, you have an output. You made an input that will make an output to give you more strength in the long term, and over time that will build muscle, and muscle is a burning effect that will over time you gain muscle. Like you say, you lose 3 pounds on the scale, but your waist is smaller because you gain 3 pounds of muscle, but you weigh the same. That's the thing. You burn fat, you build muscle. Muscle and fat, don't get me wrong, they're very separate. But you can do it at the same time. That what we call a recomposition in the fitness space. So let's get in the board that I made right here. It's really janked up, but just bear with me. So this is your diet aspect. This is your diet, right? You still need a clean diet because if you're eating like poop, some people genetically, it's not you, but genetically are gifted and they can have a crappy diet but have the training on point and be shredded. That's not you, most likely. Okay? That's you. You're over here watching this video wondering how to build muscle. So obviously it's not you. So protein has 4 calories per gram. Carbs 4, fats 9. Fats are the highest, carbs and proteins are the lowest. On a diet, you most likely will eat more carbohydrates and more protein to be satisfied full. Carbohydrate can be more biomass. You don't need carbs, but when you're on a diet, you want some energy, right? But that's the thing. You totally didn't want fat. You want the bare minimum fat. At least I would say 40% of fat, at least. That's, if you have low fat, your hormones won't be in check. Your hormones, if they're not checked, you won't build muscle. Your metabolism will slow down. You're already slowing down your metabolism anyways by being on a diet, a calorie deficit, and now you're just gonna mess it up even more if your fats are not in a productive range. Carbohydrates, you want to fuel your training, so you want moderate carbohydrate intake. It depends how many calories you have to divide that. So you already know all this, pretty much. You already know all this. Now let's get to the hormones. So this is the one I want to really focus on. This, you probably watched so many videos, you already know this. We're not focusing on this. We're focusing on hormones because that's going to play a big role in training. Really your diet as well. Training is the least thing, but your hormones is the most important. If you don't get your hormones in check and you're eating like poop, you're not sleeping, you're not training right, then you're not doing anything. You're just, I won't say that. That's kind of too sensitive. You're messing around or pussing around. You're just spinning in circles and you're not doing anything correctly. And what I'm trying to say is pretty much your hormones play a big role of your metabolism to have a faster burning effect of burning fat. to lose weight if you are losing weight. But if you don't want to lose weight, we're not getting there just yet. You already know all this. You already know how to eat clean. You know all this, but you don't do it. That's the problem. You don't actually know how to stick to it. If you want to lose 20 pounds in 3 months or 30 pounds in 5 months, the simplest thing is to track calories. But most likely you don't want to track. So the only thing I will say is eat more clean food. Clean foods build strength. You will lose weight over time, but since you don't know your calorie deficit and you don't know how many calories you're eating because you don't want to track, then just eat more whole foods. Don't try and eat more processed foods. And if you have a protein shake, that's not going to kill you. Make sure there's only one protein shake a day, right? If you don't want to track, how do we know what's your calorie deficit? So that's one way of doing it. If you want to change your body, which that is perfectly fine. I'm not trying to shame you. That's actually probably the best way mentally. I like to track just because it's easy and I like to do it. I've been doing it for a while. But just eat more whole foods, train, sleep, and have a moderate. Of course, you want to eat moderate. You don't want to overeat because you could be on a surplus multiple times, which could give you strength, but you're trying to just maintain most likely, or trying to lose weight, aka fat. So you don't want to eat too much because you still can get fat on chicken, broccoli, or rice. So just be relative what you eat. I recommend tracking. That's the best way. You found your calories, to maintain your weight. You low 500, you're in 2,500 calorie deficit. Over time, you will lose weight. Per se, you want to make sure it's not in too great of a calorie deficit, because if it is, then, well, you're going to feel like shit. That's the first thing. Your hormones will obviously not be perfect, but if you're eating the equivalent of fats that you need, and you eat protein, I would say get about 20 extra grams of protein extra. So when you're on a low diet, I say get extra 20, just because it has a better thermic effect of burning fat. And 20 is plenty enough. You don't need 30. 1 gram of body fat per body fat. You heard that so many times. I say that because it's 1, 2, 3. It's 1. You don't have to do math. You don't have to be on the calculator. Just do 1. Okay? If you want to do more, that's perfectly fine. If you do more, that's actually great because you'll be more full. That's great. Carbohydrates, you probably want more for voluminous as well. Like vegetables, steam and make high protein recipes, like protein high ice cream. I just made it right now, actually, to fill me up. It's pretty much using xanthan gum protein shake. You could just put that all in the blender, it'd be quick, like 10 minutes tops, maybe 8. And you could like spruce it up, put some like sugar-free syrup in it, and that's like 300 calories. You can fit that in your diet easy. Even on a 1600 cut, even on a 1200 cut, you can fit that in your diet. So there's no excuse. But yeah, you want to make sure your diet's in check because it's gonna play with your hormones. It's gonna play with your hormones if your diet's not in check. To actually be leaner, you want to eat more protein. You want to eat more vegetables. You want to eat less processed foods. You hear this so many times. I don't have to keep repeating myself. Eat less chips, eat less honey buns. Instead of the honey buns, eat the damn protein bar. Eat 2 freaking protein bars. Yes, it's processed. I don't care. The protein bar is processed, but I don't want you to be eating the freaking honey bun because the honey bun is obviously worse. I don't care. And I hate people once they say like, oh, well that protein bar, it's a protein bar, it's healthy. Shut up. Like, shut up. I'm giving you straight up. Of course, I want to be a nutrition coach, and I maybe shouldn't act like this in my videos, but this is called no BS nutrition. It's no bullshit nutrition. This is what you need to actually get leaner and build muscle. If you don't eat enough protein, then how you gonna even build muscle in the first place? Barely, because you don't even no protein. How you gonna build muscle if you don't get no sleep? Your hormones are imbalanced, your metabolism slows down, you're not burning as much fat. It is possible, or you could just take tren or PD use and still not get only 4 hours of sleep and build muscle. People have done that, but most likely you're not taking tren or PD use substances. So if we are natural, you have to have your diet in check. In general, you have to make sure your hormones are checked. That's the most important with your diet. Actually, I won't even separate those things. These two are the same. You need both. Have a fast metabolism, actually burn fat on this lean cut, on a body recomp, on a diet. Typically, I'm going back on a diet because that's how usually you will get leaner faster. If you want to get leaner faster and build muscle faster, you could if you have a lot of body fat, but you really just want to maintain muscle when on a diet. So it differs for different people. And your training is last. The reason why your training is last because, well, like I said, if your hormones are not checked and your training is good, you're not going to build muscle because most likely your diet is not in check because your hormones are not in check. So it goes in a circle. Training is last, your diet is first, and your hormones is first as well. Because I will say hormones are your diet. If your diet is not in check, your hormones are in imbalance. If you're eating mostly processed foods like cakes and candies, you're not eating enough protein, but you're eating a lot of carbs and fats. So yeah, your training is good, but you're just getting fat without gaining muscle because you're eating less protein. So you already know that. So I'm going to erase all this now and say, okay, we already know we have to make sure our protein, everything, our diet, our hormones are good. We have to make sure we are facilitated, we fueled up on this. And now you're trying to get muscle and lose body fat. Like I said, you can do this in many ways, but the main way is to be on a diet. But typically people don't understand when you're on a diet, you might not gain as much muscle because it depends on, like, a 300-pound person will definitely gain a lot of muscle when they're on a diet because they have so much body fat to lose and they're building strength with that fat. But if you already only have 20 to 30 pounds of fat, the typical person, then you're not going to build as much muscle per se. Like, don't get me wrong, you might build strength, like, most likely. But over time, if you're on a calorie deficit, then you're not going to build as much muscle. You just at least trying to maintain your strength. At least. That's the best cause. And if you do build muscle or build strength, that's amazing. Second option is if you don't want to track. Okay, so how are we going to actually doing this process? This is the process part. Well, if you don't want to track, and you could do two things called moderation eating. So you eat moderate, eat less processed food, don't go out so much. If you do go out to Chick-fil-A trying to get the grilled chicken sandwich, So you want to have common sense. That's the only way intuition eating will work, but it won't work for the long term. You have to really be specific, because if most of the days, if you're trying to be on the diet, especially when doing this, and if you're eating in a surplus, and then after that eating at maintenance, and then eating in like a 1 day in the calorie deficit over a week span, then you're really in a surplus most of the day, maintenance 1 day, and a calorie deficit another, and you're not really on a diet, aren't you? Like don't get wrong. If your point is to, you won't gain fat depending on how big is the surplus, but if you're trying to be in the surplus, then there you go. You won't be that accurate unless you have experience in doing this. So, I recommend to track your foods, track the calories. You can easily use MyFitnessPal. Chronometer is a good one. Nutrition, I forgot the app name, but it's multiple apps on the Play Store for free. You can get it. I remember when I was 13, I actually used pencil and paper. Was I accurate? No, at that time I was barely tracking, but I was at least getting an idea where I was. And that actually helped me a lot too. Actually, I was losing weight because, funny to say, I was eating way more because I was 250. So my calorie needs were way higher to maintain my weight. But I just took the standard nutrition protocol, 2,000 calories, and I was losing weight. So yeah, so just track your calories. That's what I recommend. Use the app. It would do all the work for you. If you don't want to do that, then you can do the second term, like I said, and not only will work for a short period of time until you have to get specific. Now, we got the process, we got the facts straight of actually building muscle and losing fat. We already went to carbs, protein, fats, got the diets. Yeah, training. Yeah, that's the last one, really, is your training. Make sure your program is good. And honestly, honestly, with programming, it is tricky, and I'm even going through some tricky times. You probably have to, I won't say change your workouts. You don't have to change your workouts, but typical when you're on a diet, the best thing is to actually lift some heavy weights in a low, moderate rep range, because you're in a low calorie deficit, you know? So you don't have all those calories to fuel your workouts, and you want to fatigue yourself for the next training day you got on Tuesday. So you have to keep in mind how you train will work for you. Of course, don't change your training drastically. You don't have to do that when you're on a diet. You don't have to do that when you're on a bulk. But typically when you're on a bulk, you have more calories, so you can do more bodybuilding movements. Typically, if you have lower calories, you could typically do more powerlifting movements. Low rep ranges, because you don't have a lot of energy. Energy is calories. So you gotta keep in mind, recovery too. That goes with sleep and your diet. So, and your training as well, because if you lift heavy ass weights, you're not eating enough, well, that can be a good thing because you're trying to keep your strength, but it also can be a bad thing because then you plateau and wondering why. Like, then you have to figure out your training program. So you have to really figure this out for yourself, I would say. Just play with it, do more research, and actually eat high volume foods. And I'm really going for the deficit because I know this is the easiest way to do it. Like, of course there's easier ways, and of course actually just eating really on a bulk. Like if you try and get fast results, lose weight, yeah, you could be on the diet, but I recommend be on a bulk. Honestly, be on a slight bulk. You'll feel your body. You're not gonna get fat. Trust me. If you're training, at least train. Even a dummy could train wrong and just train. If you just train and work out, like, you can build serious muscle and lose fat. Like, I done it. Like, it's pretty crazy. My squat was 135. I was on 500 calorie bulk. And in 4 weeks, it went up 50 pounds for 3 sets of 5. So, and your body's going to regulate. You're going to burn more energy. You're going to burn more calories. Metabolism speeds up, especially. So what I recommend is a bulk. But if you want to get lean first, yeah, you could be on a diet, potentially lose muscle, and yeah. But if you actually want to gain muscle, get leaner, a bulk will actually be your answer. But that's it. I'm ending off this video. Bye, guys.